Hey, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about some of the equipment I used during my run at the Tactical Games last year. A friend of mine has been inquiring about competing in the event. If you don't know what the Tactical Games are, it's a competition combining physical fitness with shooting skills. So we're going to go over some of the equipment I used last year, what changes I'm making for this upcoming year, and let's get into it. So first of all, if you're interested in the Tactical Games or have heard about it, I highly recommend that you visit their website. It's thetacticalgames.com. They have everything listed on there, what kind of divisions you can compete in, the rules, equipment you're going to need, but we're going to go over the stuff I used last year. So first things first, one of the things that you're going to need is a good quality plate carrier with a set of plates, and that has to weigh 15 pounds, at least in the men's tactical division, it needed to weigh 15 pounds. I wore a Cry Precision JPC 2.0, and then I had Spartan Armor System plates inside, level 4 Hercules plates. I got my plate carrier from a buddy of mine. He accidentally bought 2 of them, and so I was able to get the plate carrier at a decent price. And I should note that I do work on a little bit of a budget when it comes to competition shooting right now, but I didn't want to use any of my gear that I carry at work or wear at work. The only thing that I do use at work is my rifle. It is personally owned, but I am qualified on it to carry it. So moving on from the plate carrier, we'll talk a little bit about the stuff that you need for that. So yeah, you will need a slick plate carrier. Again, it will have to weigh 15 pounds at check-in, and it has to be slick. So eventually you're going to need to throw on either a placard or have a chest rig to go on top of that to carry your magazines. Last year I used a cheaper placard just because of the time frame that I bought the JPC. I didn't have enough time to buy a decent Cry Precision placard right before the competition, but I could get something from Amazon shipped in 2 days, so I think I got like a one Tigris kind of thing just for temporary usage for that competition. But I think next year I'm gonna actually carry the Onward Research recce rig. I got it in Ranger Green to match my plate carrier. That way I can take it on and off as needed, depending on going through the different events. You may not need a chest rig. So you just got to kind of, tailor your gear to the event that you're going into. So let's move on from the plate carrier and the placards or chest rigs or whatever you want to do. You're going to need to take at least a minimum of 5 magazines. I took 6, and I probably had a few more stuffed in my truck somewhere, just so I had enough in case something happened that I wasn't, up the creek without a paddle. I mark all my magazines with the month and year that I bought them. So I got a few that are a little bit older here, and then my initials on the back. Just because you never know when you might, magazine might bounce over to another lane. You just want to make sure that you have all your gear at the end of it. I still need to do that with my pistol mags, but so at least 5 magazines for your rifle, 5 magazines for your pistol, if not more, just in case. Let's talk the rifle setup I had last year. We'll kind of go tip to butt the way Grantham does it. You'll need an A2 flash suppressor on your rifle or muzzle brake. There's certain rules that the competition has, so you have to follow it to their standards. You can leave any attachments that you have on it. I left my flashlight on it just because that was the way I was used to shooting this rifle, but it adds weight. So you gotta, play with it a little bit. If you're gonna be a little heavy, and you're running around with it, you're gonna get wore out faster. So I left my flashlight on there, and it kind of hurt me a little bit because when you're shooting through barricades, it would get jammed up on the plywood, and I wouldn't be able to get as nice firing position that I would have liked. So it is what it is. It's a lesson learned that I had. You know, Magpul, foregrip, still able to get like a supportive position with that. Rocking an aim point with a 3x SIG magnifier. A lot of guys rock the LPVOs at the event, but when you are engaging like the shorter targets and you're maxed out, that's wasting time getting down to 1x. I like the 3x because it's quick, easy. Maybe not right now, but it's easy pop over and I'm down to 1x, back to 3x. It's real quick and easy. It's a good shooting rifle. I have no problems with it. It just was a little heavy for this type of competition. So I might want to change it up next year and rock something that's a little bit lighter. If you watched my last video, I talked about my the little deficiencies that I didn't like about the M17. But at this competition, it really helped out having the red dot, and the red dot I believe you can only use in the men's tactical or the women's tactical divisions. So having a red dot was a huge advantage because I was able to get on target quicker with the red dot. That helped out quite a bit, saved me some time there. If you're gonna have a good pistol, you gotta have a good holster. And I'm rocking the Safariland 6304 RDS. It's very similar to my work holster, and it might be a little overkill having a level 3 retention holster for something like this, but it's what I'm used to. You definitely need a holster with at least some type of retention on it because you're going to be, rolling, crawling around. You don't want to lose a pistol at the range and look like an idiot. So I highly recommend that. And like I said, I was working on a budget last year. I didn't want to use any of my work equipment just in case, God forbid, something happened. I would have to pay for it, or something get lost out of state, I would have been in trouble. So last year, I threw something together real quick. Working on a budget, I bought the cheap Krydex Amazon special. The belt did the trick, but it lacked a little bit on, having a good solid platform to work with holding my gear. I still carry a tourniquet and a med kit on my belt. Again, God forbid something happens, at least I'm prepared with that. This year I did upgrade a little bit to a 511 Maverick belt. I've been impressed with this so far, and you're probably asking, hey, why didn't you just spend the extra money on like a GBRS belt? I don't know. It's hard for me to spend $250 on a belt without seeing it first. At least 511, I could see it and touch it and felt good quality on it. But that's why I went with the 511 route. Say what you will about 511, but it's decent equipment for what I need. I also put on 2 pistol mag pouches here and 1 rifle mag pouch. And again, last year I cheaped out and bought some Amazon specials. And because of the way the M17 21 round mags are, made, they stuck out a little bit, and because the retention wasn't good enough on the pistol mag pouches, I would lose them moving around, and I'd end up like crawling through the sand trying to find my pistol mag when I should have just bought, some high-speed gear mag pouches to begin with. So that's my belt setup. I'm happy with it right now, and I'm glad I got a better quality belt for this year to come. Hearing and eye protection, it's pros and cons to having over-the-ear or in-the-ear hearing protection. When I competed last June in Ohio, it was relatively warm out, and I wore over-the-ear hearing protection the entire time. And I kind of regretted it because it felt like my head was on fire the entire time. I do like having the active sound protection, but I think I probably would have sacrificed that with some in-the-ear hearing protection for a little bit more comfort. As far as eye pro goes, you're going to want something that is definitely anti-fog coated. I had a lot of issues with fogging because I was sweating so much going through this competition. I did rock like the old Oakley M frames. The only issue I had was the fogging. I've always liked the M frames. They've never had any I don't have anything bad to say about them. Fog's the only issue. So there's that. We can go past like the equipment part of it and go into like footwear. Last year I rocked the Salomon X Ultras. You know, they're a little bit more of a hiking boot and they're pretty thick. My feet were getting warm the entire time. I switched over to shoes in between the events on the first day, and I didn't like not having that ankle protection. I was getting sand all in my feet, and again, I was more uncomfortable. I'd rather be a little, I would have rather had a little more ankle support and no sand in my feet than be cool, have cool ankles, and have a lot of sand in my shoes. So these are a little warm. I'm going to switch over to the Salomon Speed Assault 2s this year. These are super light. I like them. They're very comfortable. They're quick lace. And so far, they've been pretty cool. I haven't really gotten them dirty yet, so as soon as the weather breaks up here, I'm going to start wearing those more outside because there is no insulation in those whatsoever. Pants last year, I was rocking the Eddie Bauer Pro Guide pants. These are super light and very comfortable. The only issue is the way the belt loops are in the back. There's not enough of them, so your belt tends to like ride up higher on your waist, and it actually makes it a little more uncomfortable in the backside. But they were a decent pant. They held up well. The only issue I had was with the belt loops. I sprung a little bit for the Beyond Gear. I think these are the A9T Mission Pant. They're a little heavier. They got a little more padding in the knees and everything like that. They're all adjustable. The belt loops are not in terrible spots, so that's really exciting. They actually added one in the back, and that will prevent my gun belt from riding up on me. So I'm excited to try these out. I'm just waiting for the weather to break right now because it's been pretty cold and crappy out. Not that I don't like getting muddy or cold in the snow, but I'd rather be, again, comfortable outside if I have a choice. So that's some of the gear I'm working with. As far as off-season training, you know, work out inside a lot more. Not doing as much with the sandbags until the weather breaks. But if you're not experienced in working out with sandbags and doing a little more unorthodox stuff, I highly recommend that you check out the stuff that Tactical Games has put on YouTube or some of the other competitors have done. And I'll give you a list of names down in the description below that you can check out on Instagram of some of the athletes that do this stuff more often than I do. And that'll give you a good idea on where to start like a baseline. I purchased a ton of like different sandbags. You know, sand's pretty cheap. You can use gravel if you really want to. You might go through your canvas a little bit more, but doing those types of workouts is a huge benefit. Getting used to that, working on your grip strength because you're grabbing 120-pound like sumo, strongman bags, and you don't realize how strong your fingers really need to be able to lift that stuff and have a good grip on it. And that also helps you when you're transitioning back into the shooting parts of the stage. Your hands aren't worn out from gripping the sandbags, that you're still able to control your rifle and pistol with relative ease. Some of the other stuff that I use during the off season, you know, save money on ammo. I use the Mantis X and the Mantis Blackbeard, the X for my pistol and the Blackbeard for my rifle to do dry fire drills. Keep my skills up there. You know, it's they're a pretty solid investment. It's pretty nice to have like something to give you a little bit of feedback on your dry fire, and it's worth the money for sure. And I like the trigger reset for the rifle. It just makes everything a little more interactive, and you can work that into your workouts so that you're not popping rounds in the basement and or wherever your gym is, and scaring your wife or your parents or whoever you live with. I think I went over everything I wanted to. Trying not to be as scatterbrained on doing these videos. I'm using these videos as a way of, practicing better public speaking. Normally I'm shooting from the hip. When I'm talking to people, it's a little different when you're working on a tailored audience. So I'm hoping this will make me a better public speaker, and meeting more people in the community. Because it's important that people that are involved with the Second Amendment community stay together or stand together, and aren't fighting against each other when it comes to this stuff. I think the tactical games is a great way of getting people involved with shooting, especially if they're already involved with CrossFit type stuff. I'm not really a CrossFitter or anything like that, but it is a great community to be a part of with the tactical games. A lot of those people crossover between shooting and physical fitness. So it's just a great spot to start. If you're already a competitive shooter, this definitely will humble you really quick when you have to do your physical events at the competition. So if you have any questions about any of my gear or how I set stuff up, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit the like button. I know you hear that on every video, but it does help with the algorithm on YouTube. I'm going to try to keep stuff coming, and we'll go from there. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully I didn't sound like too much of an idiot, and if I sound a little more nasally than the last video, it's because I'm fighting a little bit of a sinus infection. So, alright, have a good one.